Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Andy.
Walt Disney World welcomes 58 million visitors every year. It is the most visited theme park on the planet. Now, no matter what time you visit Walt Disney World, you are going to have a magical time. With that said, there are times you want to avoid if possible. We got married at Magic Kingdom and we've been to Walt Disney World an embarrassing amount of times throughout all the seasons. In this video, we're going to go through the best times to go and the worst times to go.
Before we begin, we're excited to tell you that we're visiting Tokyo Disneyland and Disney Sea in September.
So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss those adventures. It's totally free and it really helps us grow. So we're gonna kick things off with January and February, the winter season, and Andy's birthday. We're actually headed to Walt Disney World in January for the marathon weekend. No, we're not running a marathon, but we are running a half marathon. So again, make sure you're subscribed.
Attempting to run a half.
Attempting to run. We may die.
I can't finish. I feel so weak.
So January and February, I do want to mention, you may be thinking the first week of January is an amazing time to go because people already took all of their vacation. No.
Not a chance. It's an urban legend that never happened.
Disney World is extremely busy up until the 7th or 8th of January. People really extend those vacations. So some of the pros for going in the winter months is obviously there's going to be less crowds. You can usually get park ticket and hotel discounts. The weather is not going to be hot, which is very rare for Florida. And of course, because of those lower crowds, you're going to have less of a wait time. It's going to be easier to get reservations and the atmosphere is going to be a lot more chill. On the flip side, there are cons to going in the winter months. Number one, the park hours will be reduced. So anytime there's less crowds at Disney World, there's going to be less staff to operate. Some rides will be under refurbishment because that's a perfect time in Disney's eyes. If you're looking forward to, let's say, Cali River Rapids, that will be closed for its yearly refurbishment. And if you're coming from a very wintry state or province, then very wintry conditions could delay your vacation. So let's say a big blizzard is coming, your flight might be delayed an entire day. So it's just something to keep in mind.
March and April are here. It's going to be a little bit milder than the winter months. It's also going to mean longer days, which means the park open later. And with that, you're going to see more crowds coming, especially with spring break happening. With more crowds, you're also going to see more entertainment and more characters around the park. Springtime is also when Disney starts to introduce more food options and change around their menu to invite guests back for the new season. Finally, this is one of the best times of the year because Epcot introduces their Flower and Garden Festival. Now on the flip side, because it is such a busy time for the parks and spring break is happening, things like hotel reservations, ticket prices, Genie Plus, it's all going to be more expensive than going on a less busy time of the year. That also means that you're going to be waiting longer in line, as well as restaurant reservations are going to be harder to find.
And now we move on to one of the best times to go to Walt Disney World.
It's gonna be May.
This is sort of like a shoulder season where people are not on spring break anymore and it's just before people get let out of school for summer vacation. Now, like we've mentioned, the weather is perfect. It's not too humid. The crowds are decent size. They're not crowds like January, February, but they are definitely more manageable than crowds in the summer. And the prices are not going to be super expensive like they are during the holidays. Now on the flip side, some of the cons, graduation time is in May, so if you're going toward the end, you could have those massive graduation groups showing up and increasing those wait times.
We've hit the dog days of summer, June through August, the hottest and most humid months of the year. On the pro side of this, a lot of people try to avoid the parks during these months, and that means lower wait times for you and your family. Also, because the summer months means more sunlight, the parks are open for longer hours. Magic Kingdom, as an example, opens at 8 a.m. and closes at 11 p.m. for most nights. That means that if you're a hotel guest, you can actually enter the park at 7:15 a.m. and spend 16 hours in the parks. And with summer crowds, very few rides are closed down for refurbishment. Of course, Disney also wants to attract guests to the parks because this is the peak travel time, so they typically try to get people to overcome the heat by offering them great deals on tickets or hotels. So this might be the perfect time for you and your family and friends to go because you might get a lot of great discounts. If you're visiting Disney mid to late August, this is about the time when Disney launches Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. This is the only time in the year where adults can actually dress up as their favorite characters and go into a Disney park. So as I mentioned before, it gets really hot in the summer, which is a definite con. You're looking at temperatures in the 90s or sometimes even triple digits.
Shut up about the sun! Shut up about the sun!
But the heat isn't the only thing you're contending with. A lot of the summer days, you're looking at rainfall. We were just there in June and we were getting a lot of rain as well as thunderstorms. And anytime there's thunder, they have to close down a lot of outdoor rides for safety. So that really impacts the amount of rides you can go on, as well as the overall mood of the day when your shoes are soaked with water.
Yo, it was a lot of rain. Some people will tell you that Florida, it will rain for 10 minutes in the afternoon and then it will mosey on out of there. That is not the case in the summer months. It rained for hours at a time. The day we were at Hollywood Studios, it was the first time we ever left a Disney park before closing. This brings us to one of our favorite months to go to Disney World, and that is September. And no, we are definitely not talking about the long weekend for Labor Day. We're talking about after. This is when people start to go back to school, they start to go back to work, and the crowds really thin out. The rain also tends to subside and those temperatures decrease. It's still going to be hot and humid, but not nearly as bad as the summer months. The Halloween party is in full swing. You're going to get those Halloween decorations before it is even Halloween and those prices start to get jacked up. And it's just overall a less expensive month to visit for park tickets and for hotel stays. Now there's not too many cons, but you do have to keep in mind that it is still hurricane season and September is the month where the most hurricanes make landfall in Florida, and it could impact your travel. Because crowds are lower, this is a time where Disney tends to do temporary closures for refurbishment of their rides.
October is here, and that means Halloween is in full swing.
This is Halloween, pumpkin scream in the dead of night.
If you're into the festivities, that means there's going to be tons of decorations, tons of pumpkin everywhere, and it's super cute for everyone to enjoy. Now when you go in October, the temperatures are warm, but it gets cool at night. Seasonal food and treats are everywhere, including your favorite pumpkin treats and drinks.
For all our basic girlies out there,
like us.
Girl, I'm stressed, but blessed, and pumpkin spice obsessed.
Now because Halloween is in full swing, that means Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is happening on a lot of nights at Magic Kingdom.
So when Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is happening, Magic Kingdom actually closes quite early for guests. Now this means they do not do Happily Ever After Fireworks Spectacular, and if you are jonesing to see that show, which we highly recommend you do if you haven't seen it before, you're going to have to book Magic Kingdom on a different day.
Now when Magic Kingdom closes early, that means that guests try to avoid that park for that day, which means crowds at the other 3 parks are typically busier. We had our wedding in October and we went to Epcot afterwards. We have never seen it so busy, and that's because there was a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which forced all the guests to go to Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom.
So now we're moving on to November, a fantastic time to visit Walt Disney World. This is because the Halloween crowds have died down and everyone is waiting for the Christmas season to go back. Now you're also going to get milder weather and reduced rainfall in this month. You're going to be able to breathe. Prices are going to be lower than they are in December, but you're still going to get the Christmas decorations, and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party starts on November 8th this year. So if you're visiting after that date, you can attend the party and get that Christmas magic at a discount. Now, in our opinion, there are very few cons for visiting in November. Again, Magic Kingdom will close early for those parties, so you do have to plan it out, and the other parks will be busier because of that. The Christmas decorations decorations will be up in the parks, but the hotels won't fully be decorated yet. So if you're looking forward to seeing that, you may want to push your vacation into December. But other than that, November is a fantastic time to go. And now it's time for our favorite month,
December.
And it happens to be the last month of the year.
Christmas is here, the holidays are in full swing, decorations everywhere. We're talking hotels with 30-foot tall Christmas trees. It's so magical. And of course, Disney has their Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Highly recommend you go, but they have special fireworks which are better than the regular fireworks.
You will cry.
You will cry.
You will cry.
A few of the rides also have holiday overlays like Jingle Cruise, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy, which are two of our favorites. Now, when you're visiting in early December, the crowd levels are pretty great. Of course, it being the holiday season, a lot of people want snow. And of course, Disney thinks of that as well. Now, if you're going to Epcot, they also host the Festival of the Holidays, where you get to meet different Santas from every single country that has their own version. Now, if you're there for New Year's Eve or the day before, Epcot and Magic Kingdom have their own special fireworks and entertainment, including DJs. It's really fun. It's a great crowd. Obviously, a lot of people want to go during December, and of course, it gets really expensive.
Listen, I got the answer. You declare bankruptcy, all your problems go away.
Expect higher prices for accommodation, for flights, for just travel in general, and you're not going to get any discounts on park tickets.
And if you are going over the actual Christmas and New Year holiday, the crowd levels are going to be extreme. Disney World is very organized and they have great ways of managing crowds, but just something to keep in mind. So when is the best time to visit Walt Disney World? Well, that's something you're going to have to figure out with your family because everybody's situation is different. But for us, because we don't have kids and we don't have to travel during the summer months or during holidays, we don't love the humidity and we absolutely love Christmas, our favorite time to go is early December. But we'd like to hear from you. When is your favorite time to visit the Disney parks? Let us know in the comments down below. And with that, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.